All right, so get this. We're going deep on not just one, but two whole books by Yuval Noah Harari.
Oh, wow. Ambitious.
Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind, and then Homo Deus, A Brief History of Tomorrow.
That's
Yep.
the whole shebang.
Yeah, the whole history of humankind, basically from like the very beginning to like this future where we might be like gods.
Yeah, and how we went from like insignificant apes to like ruling the planet to maybe even beyond.
Quite a story.
So to break it down, we're going to like follow the timeline of humanity.
Correct.
You like hit the big turning points,
Right.
like the cognitive revolution,
Mhm.
the agricultural revolution,
Yeah.
even like artificial intelligence and all that. But it's not going to be just like a boring history lesson.
Yeah, I know.
We're digging up the interesting stuff from these books. Like,
It is fascinating to think for a long time, Homo sapiens weren't the only humans around.
what?
We had like sibling species like Neanderthals who were actually pretty sophisticated.
Like, imagine running into a Neanderthal at the grocery store.
Right.
Like, it's mind-blowing. We weren't alone for so long.
So like what happened? Why are we like the special ones like the Homo sapiens? Why did we end up being the dominant species?
Well, one theory is it might be something super unexpected.
Okay.
Gossip.
Really?
Yeah. Harari thinks our ability to communicate, like to gossip, might have been the key to building these complex social structures.
Okay. I mean, it makes sense, like knowing who to trust, who's going to stab you in the back, who owes you a favor.
Exactly.
Like that kind of stuff.
That kind of social intelligence allowed us to cooperate on a huge scale.
So like survival of the fittest gossiper.
Uh-huh. Pretty much.
But how did we go from like little groups of gossiping hunter-gatherers to like building civilizations and all that?
Well, it's even more interesting. Harari says the real secret weapon of Homo sapiens is our ability to believe in like shared myths.
Myths.
Yeah, like fictions.
Okay.
Things like religions, nations, corporations.
Okay.
These are all like imagined realities. They only exist in our minds.
I guess.
But they let us cooperate in huge numbers.
So like it's like a company, right? Like Peugeot or something. It's not a like a real physical thing, but we all agree it exists like a legal thing. It can own things, pay taxes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
These shared fictions are super powerful.
Mm.
They let us go beyond our immediate social circles and build these big societies.
Okay, so gossip and shared myths helped us dominate the planet.
Right.
But what about like the next big thing, the agricultural revolution?
Well, the switch to farming is often romanticized.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, yeah.
But Harari gives us a more realistic picture.
Okay.
He says that while hunter-gatherers did face like violence and hardship, they also had more free time and a wider range of skills than farmers.
Oh, interesting.
It wasn't paradise, but they had a certain freedom.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like imagine the stress if your entire harvest got wiped out by a drought
Oh, yeah, true.
or like a plague of locusts.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Right.
So it's like we traded freedom and variety for like security and having more food, but then that came with its own problems.
Exactly. And this shift to agriculture also changed how we relate to animals.
How?
We see the start of domestication, which Harari argues has often been pretty brutal for the animals.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He talks about the contrast between like a farmer who cares for their animals and factory farms where they are treated like commodities.
Yeah, that's a tough one to think about for sure.
It is, but he does point out that some domesticated animals like pets or those raised for wool do have pretty good lives.
It's true.
So it's complex with both good and bad aspects.
Okay, so agriculture brought huge changes to human societies, our relationship with nature, and even our relationship with animals.
Right.
So what comes next in this big story?
As food production got more efficient and populations grew, we see the rise of another big feature of human history, empires.
Empires. Oh man, things are getting good now. What role did they play in shaping the world as we know it?
Empires were huge in merging smaller cultures into larger, more unified ones. Think of the Roman Empire. It spread common language, legal system, and even a religion, Christianity, across vast territories.
Wow, and to think, even centuries after it collapsed, its influence is still felt today. Did empires basically create the interconnected world we live in now?
In many ways, yes, empires created a need for standardization, consistent laws writing systems, and maybe most importantly, money.
Ah, money, the root of all evil.
Maybe. But it allowed for trade communication and the spread of ideas and technology across vast distances.
True, true. So speaking of money, Harari describes its invention as a mental revolution.
It is kind of like we created a whole new reality based on this shared fiction, this symbol of value that we all agree on.
Wow. Yeah, and that shared fiction has had a huge impact on human societies, for better or worse, right?
Absolutely. It's fueled economic growth and
Right.
shaped our understanding of wealth and value. Just think we've used everything from shells and cattle to gold coins and now digital currencies to represent this idea of worth.
It's mind-blowing when you think about it. So, okay, we've gone from gossiping apes to empire builders with fancy systems of trade and finance. Where do we go from here? What's the next big leap?
Well, that's where the scientific revolution comes in.
Uh,
Harari says this wasn't just about new discoveries. It was about a fundamental shift in our understanding of energy.
Energy.
Yeah, he says that energy scarcity isn't a problem of resources, it's a problem of knowledge.
What do you mean?
We haven't figured out how to harness all the energy available to us.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. So that brings us to the Industrial Revolution, right? Which was all about mastering new forms of energy.
Exactly. We learned to harness coal and steam, which led to all these new technologies, and the world hasn't been the same since.
For sure. But what about society? How did that change because of the Industrial Revolution?
The Industrial Revolution led to massive changes in how we live and work.
Lay out
The-
there.
We saw the disappearance of the peasantry, the rise of the industrial working class mass production, urbanization.
Yeah.
Traditional family and community structures weakened as people moved to cities to find work.
So, like always, there were good things and bad things that came with this progress.
Right.
What about animals? How did our relationship with them change during the Industrial Revolution?
The Industrial Revolution led to the rise of factory farming.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, Harari describes it as a really clear example of how industrialization has impacted the animal world.
Yeah, it's not quite the same as a farmer taking care of their animals, right?
Definitely not. He describes the cramped conditions, the focus on profit over animal welfare, it makes you think.
Yeah, for sure. So we've traced this incredible journey of humankind from those early gossiping apes to masters of agriculture, empires, and industry.
And we've learned that each step forward while bringing progress has often come with unintended consequences.
Exactly. But what about the future? Where do we go from here?
Right.
This is where things get really mind-blowing as we get into Harari's Homo Deus.
Now we're stepping into the realm of Homo Deus, or human God, where Harari explores the possibilities of humans transcending our limits and becoming godlike beings.
Okay, now we're talking, how exactly do we make that leap from Homo sapiens to Homo Deus? I'm hooked.
Well, Harari explores a few different pathways, and one of the most interesting is bioengineering.
Bioengineer.
Yeah, imagine using tech to enhance our physical and mental abilities, like extending our lifespans or even achieving immortality.
Immortality, wow, that's like the stuff of myths and legends, right? Could we really become immortal?
Harari argues that aging and death might actually be technical problems waiting to be solved.
So, like, death isn't inevitable. It's just a challenge we can overcome with technology.
It raises some big questions, though, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like, if we could live forever, what would that even mean for humanity? How would it change our understanding of life and purpose?
Big questions indeed. And we can't forget about the other big player here, artificial intelligence.
Oh, yeah. AI. Everyone's talking about it these days.
AI is another path towards Homo Deus. Harari suggests that AI could be even more transformative than bioengineering.
Oh, okay. So how?
He talks about the possibility of creating super-intelligent algorithms that could surpass human intelligence in every way.
So not just AI that can beat us at chess or write a poem, but AI that could outthink us, out-innovate us, even outmaneuver us.
Exactly, and we're already seeing glimpses of that, right?
Wait,
We have algorithms that can diagnose diseases better than doctors or make financial decisions better than human traders. The potential of AI is pretty much limitless.
It makes you wonder, if we keep making AI more and more powerful, what happens to us as the dominant species? Could we end up subservient to our own creations?
It's a possibility. Harari explores that too. He also talks about the idea of AI merging with human consciousness, creating these hybrid beings that are both biological and artificial.
Whoa, now that sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. Could we really see cyborgs walking around humans with computer chips in their brains?
It's not as crazy as it sounds. Think about it. Monkeys can already control robotic limbs with brain implants. Paralyzed patients can operate computers with their thoughts.
Yeah, that's true. Technology is advancing so quickly.
The building blocks are there, so the possibilities and the risks are pretty mind-blowing.
So Harari isn't trying to tell us exactly what the future holds, but he's giving us the tools to think about it.
Right. He's pushing us to face these complex ethical and philosophical questions head on. He wants us to think about the impact these new technologies could have on us.
It's like he's saying, hey, pay attention. The future isn't set in stone. It's a story we're all writing together.
Exactly. And that's a big responsibility. And it leads us to another fascinating idea. Harari explores dataism.
Dataism. Okay, what's that?
Imagine a belief system where data is the supreme deity.
Okay.
Dataism basically sees the universe as this massive flow of data, and the most important thing is to process that data efficiently.
So like a religion where data is the ultimate source of meaning and value.
That's a good way to put it. Harari argues that in a dataist world, human experiences are judged by how much they contribute to data processing.
So if an algorithm can process information better than a human, then the human experience itself is less valuable.
That's the logic. Yeah, and we see this happening already with self-driving cars replacing human drivers and AI doctors helping with diagnoses.
Wow, so if this keeps going, what happens to all the things that make us human, like art, music, love, spirituality? Do those just become data points?
That's the big question Harari leaves us with. He suggests that dataism might actually become the dominant ideology of the 21st century, shaping our values, our institutions, even our understanding of what it means to be human.
It's kind of scary to think about data becoming more important than human experience. It feels like we're on the edge of something completely new.
It is a bit unsettling, but it also makes you think these two books by Harari have taken us on quite a trip from our early days as hunter-gatherers to the potential rise of Homo Deus.
It's been a wild ride for sure. I'm feeling a mix of awe and anxiety. We've learned that every step forward in human history while bringing progress has also come with downsides.
That's true.
So where do we go from here? What does it all mean for us? It's like he's saying, look at what you've done. It's amazing, but you could also really screw things up.
Mm.
We've changed the planet, domesticated plants and animals, built empires, and now we might be able to reshape ourselves with technology.
And the big thing is the future isn't set in stone. It's being shaped right now by our choices. The tech, we develop the stories we tell ourselves about who we are or where we're going.
It's like those shared fictions again, right? Those imagined realities that have so much power over us. If we want a better future, we need to pay attention to the stories we're telling, the values we have, where we're headed.
Absolutely. We need to be critical thinkers, question things, get different perspectives.
Oh,
We can't just blindly follow the data or let algorithms control everything we need to be involved in shaping the future, not just watching it happen.
it's like he's saying, wake up, people, pay attention. The future is a story we're writing together.
Exactly. And that's a huge responsibility.
This deep dive has been quite a journey. We've covered so much from the very beginning of humanity to the potential rise of Homo Deus.
Uh,
I'm feeling humbled and inspired at the same time.
Me too. Humbled by how vast time is and how resilient humans are, but also inspired by the fact that we can learn, adapt, create a better future for ourselves and for the planet.
It's like Harari has given us this new way to see the world that shows us how fragile we are, but also how much potential we have.
And he's reminding us that the future isn't set, it's still being written, and we each have a part to play.
So let's recap. We've seen how Homo sapiens came to dominate the planet because we cooperate so well. We have language and storytelling, and we believe in these shared myths.
We've also seen that our journey has been full of both good and bad, with every new development bringing new benefits and new challenges, from agriculture to industry to AI. We've constantly changed the world and ourselves.
And now, as we stand on the edge of a new era, an era where we might become more godlike than ever, Harari makes us think about what kind of future we want. Do we use our power wisely, or do we become victims of our own ambition?
That's the big question, isn't it? And it's something we each need to think about. We can't just sit back and watch.
Right.
We need to be involved, make good choices, and shape the story in a way that benefits everyone and the planet.
So as we move forward, let's remember the lessons of history, how powerful our choices are, and the incredible potential we all have to create a better future. The story of humankind is far from over, and the next chapter is waiting to be written. What will you do? And